Let me formally welcome all of you to today's VIKTOR virtual workshop. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Marcel, and my role within VIKTOR is to be the dedicated VIKTOR specialist for all our clients. My role within VIKTOR started 7 years ago when I started at VIKTOR as a dedicated VIKTOR, or where I got the role of being a developer for engineering organizations. So if engineering organizations had an idea for something that they wanted to digitize or automate and make a web-based application for, I would then take that role of developing or be part of a team that develops those applications and tools for them. It was mostly web-based developments. I did some other digital developments as well. Before that, I studied mechanical engineering, had a short stint as an engineer, feeling the pain of doing repetitive stuff as an engineer, and that motivated me to do what I currently do. I took the experience and knowledge that I gained from automating for other engineering organizations to now educate, help, and make the ideas of engineers within other organizations scalable. So helping other engineers to reach their goal of automation. And with that, we're leveraging also the VIKTOR platform for that. So that is the introduction for myself. I'll also introduce the VIKTOR platform in today's session, as today's session will be on VIKTOR and more specifically how to leverage LLMs to then fast track your development to a web-based solution. Some will call this vibe coding, and it's a very nice term. I believe that with engineering, you also always want to make sure that your results are good and verified and checked. So just vibing yourself to a bridge design, I wouldn't recommend that. But yeah, that's part of the process we're going to then talk about today, and hopefully this will resonate with you. Hopefully you will walk out of this workshop excited and with more knowledge on how to apply what you've learned today in practice. All right, I will spend the first. Okay, so we're already 10 past, but I will still make time because I think it's valuable just to understand who's within this call. So first, we will take a couple of minutes to get to know one another, after which I will present VIKTOR, more specifically what VIKTOR is and why we created VIKTOR, what the key features of the platform are. I think it's very valuable to show the breadth of the VIKTOR platform, because what I'll be presenting in this workshop is only a tiny bit of the platform. So rather than just getting the idea of what the app builder is, you get a broad idea of what VIKTOR is. Also, I showcase that also with a customer case. If you would like to see more, I've also prepared some extra ones, so we can also dive. I'm very flexible. We've got 3 hours. We can do a lot in this 3-hour session. So happy to get a bit off track. I know the image that I used was to be on track, but we are definitely allowed to slightly go off topic, just to accommodate everyone in the session. But then we get to the part where this whole session is all about the app builder, and that, if I can already give it away a bit, it's leveraging AI, LLMs, I should say, to help you create a web-based solution within the VIKTOR platform. And then the sixth topic is then where the excitement starts, where we are all going to build together. We're going to generate ideas, and I really want to see what everyone does, so that we can get, that we can learn from one another. I'm learning every single day. Having developed many years with Python and other technology stacks, Prompting is still very new for me as a as a coding language. So also curious to see what I can learn from all of you today. So it's not a learning experience only. That's something that I'm teaching to you. I hopefully can learn also from you. In that building, I will also then take a moment to talk about prompting principles and giving tips to you. And then at the end, we are going to show one another what we've done. I will definitely show you what I've done because I'll be live demoing, and hopefully you can also share some interesting results that you got out of it. And then, yeah, in that sense, we'll also then round off. Hopefully, it will have been a good session. Now, without further ado, let's get a quick round for everyone. Sergey, maybe starting with you, since you are hosting the session, maybe you can also introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Sergey Pikach. I'm part of Core Studio. I'm going to be your flight attendant for this session, just making sure things go smoothly. Yeah, I'm a software engineer, background in architecture, been with Core for like 8 years at this point. Yeah, very excited to be here.
Thank you, Sergey. Next up, John.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is John. I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm from Greece, Athens. We have a MEP design office in Athens. So we are really looking forward to automate our workflows and do the most fun thing than do the repetitive tasks. So glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I'll pass it on to Anmol. You're on mute, so if you can unmute yourself.
Yes. Yeah. So my name is Anmol. I work as a software developer in Huskoning, which is a company in Netherlands. I work mostly with Python and C# for backend applications. We mostly make applications for engineering use within our company in AEC. Yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Thank you, Anmol. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, but Kohi, can you then also introduce yourself? You're also, by the way, on mute. All right, it might be that I'm mispronouncing your name. It's Kohi. If you're struggling to unmute yourself, I'll then pass on to the next one while you try to unmute yourself. Isa is next. Could you maybe introduce yourself? Also on mute, so if you could also unmute yourself. I might need to point out, if you're in the browser of the Zoom, then make sure to also give permission to the browser to make use of your mic. So while you are sorting out that, I will then go on to ask Philip if you could introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hey, everyone. My name is Philip. Nice to meet you. I currently work at a real estate developer in New York. So we'll also attend some of the sessions in person here next week. So hope to see you guys there.
Nice, nice. Yeah, you'll definitely meet some of my colleagues there. I unfortunately won't be there this year, but you'll be meeting my colleagues, Yannis and Rick, who will be definitely there. So please make sure to say hello to them when
Will
you're
do.
there.
Yeah.
Cool. Taro, you're next.
Hello. Hi, my name is Taro Narahara. I'm an associate professor at New Jersey Institute of Technology, NJIT, and I'm mainly teaching architectural design, digital design, computational design, and I have some background in Python coding, presenting research papers at computer science journals and so on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, Tim.
Hey, morning, everybody. Tim Myers. I'm with CGF Architects out of Seattle, Washington. Background in architecture and design. Current role is computational analysis and sustainability analysis. So excited to be here.
Nice. A lot of architects. Really looking forward to see what all of you will be producing. Yuva Shri, you're next. All right, I see another one that's struggling to unmute herself. I guess, I hope I'm through everyone. Oh, no, I'm not. I see Aoife. Aoife,
Hi.
you're next.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Ife. I'm an architectural designer. I live in the New York area. I'm taking this course because I have now grown an interest in the tech side of architecture. Like I'm currently taking a course with Jacob Russo on AI in architecture, and that's how I got to hear about this session. So I'm looking forward to knowing more about the VIKTOR app. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Curtis, let's try you. Could you unmute yourself and introduce yourself?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Curtis. I'm a project consultant at Thornton Tomasetti. And my background is also architecture, but I'm doing more like work related to sustainability and resilience. And my coworker mentioned VIKTOR AI a lot, so I think the good chance for me to learn right here.
Great. Well, thank you everyone for introducing yourself. For those that weren't able to introduce yourself, hopefully you can get the opportunity to maybe later introduce yourself. Later we will be very collaborative in when the workshop really gets going, where we're building together. So yeah, hopefully you can get your mic sorted out. All right. Thank you all for introducing yourself thoroughly. I'm really looking forward to see the use cases, especially if you understand where VIKTOR is coming from. I'm therefore very curious to understand or see what results get displayed. Why? Well, I'll show you in a second why I'm especially curious for this group that is attending today. So why are we building VIKTOR? Well, as we see that the world has quite a lot of challenges, and we would like to create a technology, a solution, a platform where we can empower all the engineers out there to help solve the world's engineering challenges fast. Now, so that is our big why. And that's also why I'm very interested to see how all the architects in this session, how they are going to come up with interesting solutions. As you will notice that the AEC industry, you have engineering in the middle, architecture, engineering, and construction. And engineers need to collaborate with both the architect and with the people in construction, the contractors, to get to solutions. So the VIKTOR platform should facilitate everyone within the AEC. And we started the VIKTOR platform focusing on the very technical aspects for the engineer itself. And now we have grown that much that we are looking at the collaborative part. But what we also see is what is still a big struggle for a lot of engineers when it comes to innovating and taking the step to innovation. It's mostly, we hear, it's project pressures. It's all that billable work that needs to be done first, and then we can innovate. Second of all, if you are innovating, especially if it's a proper product, then you have a few people involved. You need to, let's say you are going to develop a web-based solution. So then you get a front-ender, back-ender, an infra person, and they all develop together to find a solution. So you have those three involved. You probably also have a product owner who is also, well, you hope that it's a subject matter expert, but then sometimes that is also another person. So getting all those people in the same room to have meetings to ensure that the tool works as it should, that also delays quite a lot. Then we get to disconnected workflows. Most innovations within engineering, therefore, do not happen as the structured web-based solutions or centralized solutions, but rather a disconnected way of working. You probably have worked in an environment where you have Excel sheets, Grasshopper scripts, Dynamo scripts, and then we're talking about the third-party software that you're using as well, which does the dedicated task. So spending a lot of time switching between all these different ways of solving your project work. That disconnect brings about then the other problems that we have is that if you move your data that you've calculated from one to the other, so let's say you've got a solution from a third-party software and you need to transfer that to an Excel sheet, you copy and paste a lot of times, and that Excel sheet, the solution to that, you bring that over to Grasshopper. Maybe you've created a node if you're lucky, but if it's every time the Excel sheet looks a bit different, then you're probably also going to copy and paste that into your Grasshopper script. It's a lot of disconnect that can create errors, or it can take time. I mean, the most time-consuming one is if you transfer your results as a PDF report to your colleague, and they need to then parse out of that that PDF the logic or the results. The other thing of disconnected workflows is skills misalignment. If you've got an Excel sheet, especially with a VBA, the young architect or the young engineer, do they still know VBA? Maybe they do not know VBA anymore, but they know Python. And that disconnect in skills, that skills misalignment also causes for a maintenance burden over time. And then we get to uncontrolled distribution. Once you have your Grasshopper script or your Excel sheet where you've done quite a bit of automation, how do you ensure that this gets distributed within your team or within your organization as in a proper way, that whenever you make an update, that they do not make use of the older one, that they keep on using the latest one. So yeah, those are just some challenges. There's definitely more. I'm just highlighting some. So VIKTOR is solving this with three things in mind. We want to allow the engineer to build digital tools quickly with minimum coding skills. Now, the VIKTOR platform, as I will present later, started as a platform where you only needed to know Python, but we try to make that as easy as possible through a software development kit, and where we've also now added the prompting element as well, where you can leverage large language models to produce code which produces your automations. Then when you are having this disconnected workflows, how can we make that seamless? So we want to connect all the software into a seamless workflow. And then third of all, we want to enable all engineers to find, share, and manage verified user-friendly tools instantly. All right. By the way, if there are any questions or if something resonates really quite a lot with you, just indicate with a thumbs up, or if you have with a question, you can raise your hand. Let's try to make this as interactive as possible. Later on, we will definitely make it interactive, where we are going to share our solutions with one another in any case. So don't be shy. All right, let's get to the VIKTOR key features. As I mentioned and at the introduction, that the VIKTOR platform has quite a lot of things that we provide, focusing on the building, the connecting, and the distributing thereof. So those key features I do want to highlight in detail. Here you've got a nice overview of the features. Is that we want to make the development speed as quick as possible. We want to make it also as flexible as possible, so that if you have automated solutions made in the past, where you can then make use of that automations in the future as well, leveraging the VIKTOR platform. That brings us to integrations, where we provide, and our aim is to integrate with all engineering software, where we already have a seamless experience with many engineering software, and we provide generic solutions if we do not have a current solution for that. When we're talking about distributing the problem or the challenge of distribution, we have many solutions on that, which I will dive deeper into. And then data security within the AEC space. Data is such a sensitive topic. You don't want to leak any data, especially if it's on a very private project, which most are. So we need to comply to the highest standard. App sharing and scalability. We need to ensure that sharing is as easy as one click of a button. And then, how do you measure whether you are doing things well? We provide activity analytics in a very granular way. All right. Those were the 7 topics. Let's dive into each one into detail. Where development speed, I already mentioned that we started with leveraging Python as the coding solution to build your application, where it was always a trade-off within organizations. Either you have a dedicated solution, well-structured, very professional, but then you need to have an entire full-stack development team which know front-end technologies such as JavaScript, React, HTML, and the likes, or back-end developments with Python and Go being examples to infrastructure development technologies. Now, rather than having all that expertise, we tried to simplify that, and we've made that possible where you only need to know Python. You also notice that even in organizations where that full stack team are available, that they generally don't have time because there are so many things that need to be digitized and be put on a higher level, that they do not get to these team specific innovations. And we want to cater for them, where you have a platform where you simply need to know Python knowledge, where you leverage our software development kit, our SDK. It's a Python library, or a recent addition, and that's what we are going to talk about today, which is to leverage LLMs to build for you nice VIKTOR applications in, I dare say, a few minutes. Luckily, we've got more than a few minutes today, so I am very positive that we will be able to all get to a VIKTOR application by the end of this session. All right, then we get to flexible logic and integrations, where why, because that's a question that a lot of people ask, why did we commit to Python as a foundational language rather than C#, which is also used quite a lot in the AEC space? Well, Python, in a very simple terms, is the most open source language in the world, with the most open source developments currently at play. So you have the freedom and flexibility to make use of any of those openly available packages that have been developed, whether you want to do some data analytics with pandas, some optimizations with SciPy, some plotting, whether that's with matplotlib or plotly. If you want to generate drawings, you can leverage EasyDXF and the likes. And when it comes to specialized software, we can't live without that within the AEC space. If you want to leverage Rhino or Grasshopper for any organic lines and surfaces, You can probably try to do that with Python, but you'll do a much better job just leveraging these third-party software. Also with finite element modeling, in theory, it's possible to do with only Python. And in practice, there are some libraries available for very simplified models, but for the complexity that takes place within the AEC, you'd probably leverage a third-party software. And why reinvent the wheel? That's also another case. So integrating with third-party software have all these valuable importances. Having said that, there's also a scattered group of dedicated software that do only a single task, which you sometimes think, well, if I had the expertise, I would be able to recreate this software myself. It's especially on those lines where you can rethink, okay, maybe it is the case where I can take a bit of time to recreate this. But when it comes to complexity, I generally say you need to weigh it off between the time you'll spend on recreating something versus so the opportunity cost of creating that and verifying and maintaining that versus just using. The flexibility lies not only in developing the applications, it's also in the usage thereof, where you can create a user experience for your users, where we provide different app structures, whether that is only for a calculator or a complex analysis. We provide for both extremes. Version control and governance. I'll keep this one short. For those that are very capable with coding, you might be interested in the fact that we can integrate with repository systems. We are repository agnostic, so you can make use of any repository system, whether that's GitHub, GitLab, Azure DevOps, Bitbucket, you name it. And that version control that you have in there can then be replicated. So the tagging that you do in there is in the VIKTOR platform. You can also do tagging in the VIKTOR platform without these repository systems. So as I mentioned, we are repository agnostic. Verification, you don't want to have a development that you still need to check and review, that gets used on projects, or at least not without your knowledge. In that case, we have built-in verification systems where your subject matter expert needs to first review and approve it before it can be verified. This is all based on how an organization's verification structures are set up, and therefore it's also as flexible as that. Furthermore, we have a user management system where both developers and users are managed on the platform. So you can invite people to be maintainers of the applications, therefore only they can maintain the application or make changes to the application. Same applies to users, where you can only invite those that you want to contribute to their developments to it. Then we get to app sharing and scalability, where you can, where the sharing should be as easy as clicking a button. With online developments, that is indeed the case. If you are developing locally, then it's as easy as one command line away. Once that application is deployed and shared, it's available within the App Store within that environment, where you can then take a look. For all of you that have already logged into the AEC.VIKTOR.ai environment, you'll see many of these elements already appear. For example, the App Store that you see there, that's an example of how the App Store can look like. Applications, and this isn't getting into the technical detail for those that are worried about the infrastructure on the backend side. We manage the scaling, so if you share that with 100 people, we manage that scaling of resources automatically. And we allow for collaboration across disciplines, where you can connect all those software that you are developing, all those tools that you're developing, you can connect them together with one another. Data security, where we host in different regions, especially for that data sovereignty requirements. Private projects, if you don't want other people to see on what project you are working or what data is of that project, that gets isolated, and all the data changes, all the entries are also changed or also registered, ensuring that if you at least that there's accountability on all the projects, and no data ever gets lost. We comply to the security requirements and policies and compliance standards of all the engineering clients that we have up to today, which are a lot. And we keep on striving for the best standards out there. And then, as I already mentioned, activity analytics. You can track all the activities of the your applications that you've developed on dashboards. Even if it's for small things, like you want to know if someone clicked on this one specific button and how many times they've clicked and who was the person that clicked on it, you can go as fine-grained as that. All that data is available. All right. Before we get into some inspirational cases, I think I've selected only one for now. But are there any questions? Cool. Let us continue. Customer cases I've presented a lot over the years, and we've pendulumed over from presenting very nice complex cases to super simple cases. So I do want to highlight that you can create applications that are super simple, like Andy Webster of KBR pointed out, where they were able, in a hackathon, create a lot of applications. 5 of them were already super valuable. I see that now, actually reading the LinkedIn post, that he says 6 working engineering applications, which is quite nice. I'm not sure why I've got 5 of them, but yeah, that's you can create valuable applications in a short period of time. You do not need to have extreme amount of time to create something of value. And then we go into some nicer cases. This is not per se a complex one, but I think it's a. I wanted to highlight especially cases that I think that we are going that we could achieve in the time that we have available. And this is definitely something. Although it's tunnel engineering, none of you are tunnel engineers. It does consist of a geometry. It's finite element modeling, so it does fall within the space that many of you are working. This is a case of Jacobs, with the developer's name being Mitchell McMahon. He's a tunnel engineer. He was able to create an application in a short period of time that enhances tunnel reinforcement design. It integrates with the FEM package Strand 7 and SAP 2000. That's not the one that we will present now. I have a video available. In this example, he simply uploads it. After having done so, he quickly identifies the areas of the tunnel that require additional reinforcement. He detects and corrects the modeling errors, after which he then generates the reports and the output that he needs. So yeah, let me entertain you with a nice video. If hopefully, there we go. Let's play it. There we go. All right, so as you can see here, this is one of his tunnel models in SAP 2000. For those of you that are not familiar with SAP 2000, that is a finite element modeling software with which he modeled then the structure of the tunnel. After having done an analysis on it, he still needs to do some checking according to Australian standards and then apply and enhance reinforcement design. For that, he selects then the code with which he then wants to calculate. He uploads his SAP 2000 tunnel model, the one that was presented just a few seconds earlier. Here you can see the reinforcement combinations for the different parts, the top face, the bottom of the face, and as you can clearly see, that model that he showed a bit earlier is now also shown here with the different reinforcements applied. As the label says, the 3D structure with grouping. Some other additional parameters applied. Once he is done with that, he then goes on to then visualize the optimized reinforcement. Let's see how that looks like. And here we go. Here you can see what are the extremities of this model, where you might need to do some changes. And if he is satisfied with the outcome here, then well, this already optimizes automatically, so he doesn't need to do any changes. It gives then recommendations, and those recommendations are then downloaded in the results that follow. Here you can then download a CSV, DXF drawing, and PDF report of this model. So yeah, hopefully you'll then go to the next step. Yes, so here you can see. So you can download the CSV or a zip which contains the report as well as the drawing. And here you can see the raw results, and here you can see the PDF report of his specific results. And let's see as a last one how the DXF looks like. Here you can then see the full drawing that he generated. And just to highlight, this is possible to do within the time that we have today. It does expect of you then to have certain input already available, which I do not expect from you, but I am optimistic of today. If there are any questions of this specific case or what I just mentioned, yeah, please let me know. Right. Anmol, I see that you raised your hand.
Yes, I did. I had a question regarding the app that you just showed. The reinforcement data that was shown, was it also imported, or was there a backend in which he actually computed the reinforcement and showed it on the app?
Yeah, I do not know all the details. It was definitely not imported through the application. So it's one of two things. Either he had a standardized database programmed into the application, or he linked it up to a through an API where he then would then retrieve the database. I believe it's very standardized. So it might be that in the backend he simply had an existing CSV file of all the reinforcements that are available, because those do not change much over time.
Okay, thank you.
John.
Yes, hello, thank you. I have a question. I understand that the user can build applications like web applications, correct? I mean,
that is correct. Yes.
Is it possible also for the user to download like the necessary files and to upload the files, I mean, inside his design software, like to build like built-in applications? Is it possible?
That is indeed possible. As you can see from the example I just showed, he was able to download 3 different export results. So here you can see a PDF. So here you see that there are 2 buttons. One is to download a CSV, and here with this button, he downloaded a zip file, DXF and PDF. So PDF and CSV, obviously, those are most of the times end results. CSVs could be input for some software, but especially DXF that you see, those can be uploaded into AutoCAD or your CAD software of choice to continue. We also have many software that have their own dedicated format. For that, it depends on what type of format. Some are proprietary, like DWG is proprietary. And there we either recommend DXF if you really want to go the DWG route. You can then integrate with, for example, Autodesk's APS, which is the Autodesk Platform Services, which is also easily possible within the VIKTOR platform, where you then take your drawing and convert that to that specified format. Then it's up to you, the choice, whether you want to simply download and continue in your software, or if you want to not go into the user interface of that specific software and simply link it up and do the automated calculations with that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, but maybe my question wasn't very, good. For example, we use AutoCAD for do the MEP design. So we're looking to create a custom ribbon inside the AutoCAD. So we have like buttons that do certain things. So is it possible to create these buttons with the VIKTOR software, or we have to use the web application?
Yeah, that's a good point that you're making. So what you're referring to are the plugins within that software. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so the VIKTOR platform is a platform where you primarily build web-based applications. We provide endpoints that you can integrate with that web-based application. So we have a couple of examples available where organizations created plugins where they, in the background, make use of our external API, which then transfers data from that software, in your case, AutoCAD, to the web-based platform, where you can then continue analyses and then push it back to your software. But those are very specific solutions and not as generic as you would generally get. Most of the times, if you have a ribbon available within, whether that's Revit, Civil 3D, AutoCAD, or the likes, you want to remain with it in that interface. And then the web-based solution is less interesting, except if you want to utilize of the computational resources of the VIKTOR platform, but then you're not going to make use of the user interface that is the web-based solution of VIKTOR.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Hopefully it will become more clearer as we do the hands-on approach. I will also, in that 90 minutes that we are going to then build some applications, since you are in the MEP space, I will also then in between show you some examples of what has been done. It's mostly integrations with Autodesk, with the ACC, and by making use of Autodesk Platform Services, which is, for today's purposes, not what we're going to focus on, because I don't expect everyone to have their own integration ready to make use of. But that will hopefully inspire you to understand what is possible. Right. Any other questions? Right, I guess then we are going to continue with the app builder. As I mentioned, today is all about leveraging the large language model feature that we have available in the VIKTOR platform. I'm now also going to then take the opportunity to add other people to the AEC.VIKTOR.ai environment, because we are many. The amount of emails that I've received and the amount of people in this call, there are more people in the call than the emails that I received, so I suppose there have been a few shared since I started. Before I then take the time to then invite the others, what are the things that you can expect from the app builder? I will give a live demo to show you the experience. But let me start with a question. Who ever used ChatGPT? Let's start with a very easy question. Let's just I just want to make sure that people know where the button is, where you can give a thumbs up or hands up. Great, I see Taro is just raising his hand. John is giving a thumbs up. Anmol, okay, great. Whoever wanted just to ask ChatGPT, can you just build this tool for me? That would be nice, right? It would be a really, really cool, like, for example, John, you want to build a plugin within your AutoCAD. Wouldn't it be great to if you just ask ChatGPT, build me this plugin? Yeah. Yes. Now, that is something that we also thought when the moment we saw ChatGPT, we were like, this is the future. This could be revolutionary. How can we enable engineers by using this? And that's why I'm showing you this GIF that's repeating itself. You want to just give all your requirements and your methodology, and then it should spit out for you some solution. Reality is that large language models are exactly that, LLMs. They, or I should say the other way around. LLMs are exactly that, large language models. They produce language for us. They produce a lot of text. So they don't provide necessarily solutions, except if the solutions are in text. But it does allow us then to produce code. And being in the architectural space and engineering space, it's very important to shift from that probabilistic mindset that LLMs are to the specific mindset that engineering requires. I mean, you can't say, okay, it's going to be, I want to design a building which has an 80% chance of staying upright. It needs to, the moment you build it, it needs to stay upright. So with that, we went on a journey. We did have a lot of iterations to get to something, and the idea was to have a rapid implementation where you can create a tool in minutes rather than days and weeks and months. So we want to make the engineer more productive. Boost the productivity by seamlessly integrating with engineering software, maximize the adoption. So it's not just producing a lot of applications. Those valuable applications need to be found and distributed, and once they meet all requirements, and they need to be safe and secure. So how nice would it be if you can simply upload your PDF with your design requirements and you give some additional context? Now, here's an example where simply by giving all your context, it creates, in this case, a good foundation. Wouldn't that be great? Well, this is what we are going to try and achieve today, is that you think about what are the challenges that you face. Typically, I would say, what are the Excel sheet solutions that you've had, or the post-processing, and like, for example, the tunnel design that I just showed. What are those simple stuff that you do that you can create a web-based solution for, and maybe more. That's what we are here to explore today. I'm just going to show you the fundamentals, but I'll leave it up to you to be creative, and find the possibilities and the limitations of the platform. And I want to hear both today, as the VIKTOR platform is constantly striving to improve. You will definitely run into some limitations, and I want to know that. But I also want to hear what were the nice solutions that you got. So it's going to you're going to put your exploration hat on today, and your creativity hat, and we are going to build nice applications today. All right. Well, let me then also switch to my demo environment. Whilst doing so, let me just quickly enter. Now I'll do that later on. For those, oh no, let me take the opportunity to first add people to the chat that haven't been added. So I see Kohi has not been added. I'll make sure to add him as well. So just give me a minute or two to add the last couple of people that have added their emails, after which we can get started. For those of you that already have access to the environment, feel free to log in and navigate to the Develop tab, because what we are now going to do is going to develop together. I don't expect of you to, or I don't want you to take my example. I'm simply going to develop something that might be of interest to you, and so we are going to develop together. All right, so Kohei, you have been added. Tim, I'm now adding you as well. So expect an email in the next couple of seconds. Tim. And then the last one is Ife. I'm also adding you right now. There we go. By the way, if I didn't write your name correctly, you are more than welcome to go to the settings. I'll show you that as well if anyone is interested in changing their name. I'll also show that to all of you. All right, I believe I've added everyone to the AECvector environment. Please indicate in the either this chat or in the Slack channel if you cannot, or if your email, or if you haven't been invited. I see that there are a couple of questions in the chat. Slack is blocked by our organization. I see. So Tim, feel free to then continue the conversation in the Slack. Sorry, in the Zoom chat. Yuvashri, I see that you are unable to unmute yourself. I thought so. And Isa, I see that you mentioned was answering a consultant call during the intros. Sorry about that. Okay, and then you introduce yourself. Thank you, Isa, for introducing yourself. Yeah, great. Cool. Please let me know if you haven't yet entered the AEC.VIKTOR.ai environment. I'll also show you how to log in. So I'll quickly log out. You simply go to AEC.VIKTOR.ai. For those that do not have access to Slack, I'm adding the link also in the Zoom chat, aec.victor.ai. You navigate to that. I've invited all of you, so you first had to set your password. So you would have received an email for that. Once you log in, you'll enter this home page. I already mentioned in the presentation there's some things like the App Store and other relevant and irrelevant tabs. I want you to go to the Develop tab. It's at this place where we are going to start our journey to using the App Builder. All right. I introduced the App Builder with the question, whoever used ChatGPT? Well, that was a very interesting question, or easy question. But the second question was, who ever wanted to ask a model such as ChatGPT to solve some calculations or some design or so? It's now the opportunity to ask this to the AI-assisted app builder. In this case, I'm going to start with, because many of you are within the architectural space, I'm going to take the 3D model example. So you'll see I'm clicking there where I say, create a simple app that generates a 3D model of a high-rise building. I want to be able to adjust the width, length, and number of floors of the building. Each floor consists of 2 blocks, a concrete slab and a window layer. And off top of there is a concrete slab for the roof. Make sure I can visually see the difference. Don't add any text labels to the 3D model. I want to do a sunlight analysis on this building. As I do not have much experience with sunlight analyses, I'll leave it up to you to make the appropriate assumptions. Now, this is a very poor prompt, but I do want to make it very interesting. So let's go. So I'm just taking a sunlight analysis, as I am aware that architects do sometimes do these analyses. While we are waiting for the app builder to generate some code for us, I would like to hear from one of the architects what you would build for yourself if you, now that we are going to get started.
Oh,
Tim.
I went sideways there, but you can still hear me. Yeah, daylight's a good one. We do the typical analysis of daylight versus energy and radiation, direct sun. I'm also curious, the one that I'm just starting to type in now, we'll see what happens with it, is just solar panel generation, like optimizing where they go, tilt, direction when you're constrained by either a boundary or a area. So then if it can calculate the PV production and give alternatives to general layouts, that's something that comes up often in our projects as well.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm curious to see how far you will get there. Yeah, so it's cool ideas. Yeah, I'm especially working a lot with geotechnical and structural engineers. So I've collected quite a lot of examples there. Now hosting for the AECtech, I was already I already knew that it's going to be more on the building side and with architects. So I'm very interested to see all the topics that will come up today, and that we share our experiences. So yeah, as you can see here, it started off very easily, just a nice block. You probably would have done a good job for all of you that use Grasshopper. You probably would have done this job just as well here. And let's see the sunlight analysis. So it only produced some data, and solar exposure, it says it's excellent, which is very interesting. I want to point out now, it produces some outcome here. It also produces code for you. So that is, I mentioned that the VIKTOR platform is built on top of Python. So, and as we want to check our logic, you want to ensure that the calculations are done correctly. So we don't want to create a black box experience. It needs to be clear to the user how the sun position is, for example, calculated. So if you don't agree with it, that you can either make the changes here in the code, or you can say like, listen, you've made a mistake. I don't trust you anymore. Calculate sunrise and sunsets. Okay, so this is very easy stuff still. It doesn't do the, I don't think it does the intensity yet in this analysis. But then you can continue on that. You can also say like, generate a few plots showing the output variables that you calculate doing the sunlight analysis. So then you can do a visual inspection thereof as well. So again, it's going to go to the large language model that we have. We are using Claude Sonnet 4.5, and then as someone pointed out, we put some VIKTOR Spice on top of that. So we basically then give extra context. So extra context of VIKTOR. We connect our documentation, the community documentation as well. What will be integrated in a few weeks is agents. So based on your questions. So for example, in this case, I'm asking questions on sunlight analysis, that agents will go out, find resources for you, and do that specific analysis, rather than leveraging only the knowledge of the large language model. So it actually then retrieves resources, and that context is then added as well to the analysis. All right, so what we then see here is that hopefully these plots look good, because that's part of a nice demo, is that the plots look good. While we are waiting for that, I can also show that whenever changes are made, I already mentioned that you can make changes in the code, but you can also make changes through prompting. I see that it doesn't, now it highlights it, the changes. So you can see to generate those plots, it created an extra method, and you can go through all of that to ensure that it's done. Oh, here we see now all these. So this is a very rudimentary sunlight analysis. I wasn't expecting much more than this, because I said just do a sunlight analysis. It's up to you, being the architect or the engineer with the knowledge, to provide that context to the model. Otherwise, any context that is not given is assumed, and it will be it's not always the best thing to let the large language model assume. Right. Yeah, so this is just a very simple example. I already mentioned that you can also upload files. I haven't done so. So if you want to add some additional context, you can happily do so by uploading your file. At the moment, we've limited it to one, to make it, to not let people go crazy with the file uploads. So be sparing with what type of file you want to upload. You can always start over. That's usually what I recommend to people. Just when in doubt, or when you feel like you're fighting more with the app builder than collaborating with it, just start over, take the learnings, and go to your next development. You have more than enough space to develop today. Yeah, and once you are happy with that and you want to share that with everyone here, because you can share, it's an isolated environment, so the AEC.VIKTOR.ai environment is only accessible to those that have been invited to that. So everyone in the session will be able to see at the end of the session what the others can develop only if you publish. So you click on publish, and then it then gets deployed. So yeah, that is all of that in a nutshell. Any questions? Ife.
So I want you to tell me if what I'm trying to do is even like possible, because I imagine that it would require VIKTOR having the VIKTOR app having access to a lot of information about building codes. So I said I want to build an app that checks for compliance with the CRC, that's a California residential code, hoping that I could maybe upload a drawing that I've done before, like when I was working in California, and then see how it processes that. I think that's my first question, like, because I understand that in this case, it would need to have access to the code, the building codes, and like read through it and understand how to check the drawing for the compliance.
Yep.
Then the second part is the kind of access that we have right now. Like, do you think we have to redact, like take information out of like, is the information we upload here, maybe any drawings, is it going to be accessible to other people at this time?
No. So all the things that you upload there, they're only private to you.
Okay.
So no need to worry about that. It is the case that once you publish that, anything that you upload on the published one might be visible to others, but that is, I say might, it's only then visible to the administrators of the environment and anyone that you invite to your application. So that's
Okay.
that's a different story. But during development, no, you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Cool. To get to your question about building codes and the type of application that you want to develop. Our ambition is to also be able to include the building codes. For us to be able to do that, we need to go to all the different global bodies, engineering bodies, to get permission to do that, because it falls under copyright laws. So we cannot simply make use of those. That's also the case. The LLM does not know currently of that, because it would then otherwise breach copyright
Oh, I
laws.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my recommendation for that is that if you have those standards, to upload that here, and then you can develop an application with those standards then baked in. For your application itself, you can, for example, upload files into your application. So I would then say, I'm not going to press enter here because I've already got an existing application, but I would say something like, I want to develop an app that uploads an IFC file, and then checks whether it conforms to the norms and standards that are defined in the uploaded document. Something like that. I do not have, I'm not very optimistic that it will do the best job at that, especially for large documents, because then it needs to process a lot of data. I would rather do that in chunks. So where you upload that and then say, okay, let's first do chapter 1 or section 1, and then say, let's code in these standards and make sure that those checks comply. So I'll later get into prompting principles and tips, and this will be one of them. But then you already know. Another thing to take note, you notice that I explicitly mentioned an IFC file. that there are some files that are, as I already mentioned to John, some are proprietary, meaning that it's not readable from an open standard approach. IFC is an open standard, so you can read IFC files. You, for example, cannot read a Revit file without an integration with an Autodesk software. Same would apply with a DWG. You cannot read a DWG file without a CAD integration, for example. So be mindful of what you currently upload for now, for during this session, because we don't have enough time to integrate your favorite software into this application as well.
Right.
Okay. Hopefully I answered your question adequately.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Right. Anmol, you're up.
Yeah, just a small question. So VIKTOR is primarily used for visualization purposes or also for analysis purposes? Because here I see like you're generating the code for sunlight analysis, which is, it works, it's good, but I think in reality, it's much more complex than this. And there are already software which have predefined functionalities for that. So is there a possibility we can combine those softwares using APIs? For example, if you want to do a static analysis of a building, here you can just connect it to a SIA API. Is such a thing possible here?
Definitely. Yeah, so I keep the integrations today out of scope because that won't give us enough time. But I do want to show some examples later on. So you mentioned SIA. I can show an example for that later on. I will also share some cases on that where you can integrate with that. For those that are interested, integrating with your favorite third-party software can be done. Obviously, it's possible through an API. So if you would have a Python script and you want to make a request to a RESTful API, that is possible. If your third-party software needs OAuth 2 authentication, we provide that integration as well. And then third of all, the big question is always, how do we do that for third-party software that are desktop-based? And SIA is indeed one of them. For that, we have what we call a worker. That is a third-party software. That's not a third-party software. It's our software that you install on your device of choice. If you have SIA on your device, then you simply download the worker, install that, and you are able to then run SIA calculations with that. I'll also share a link if you are curious. Maybe you can actually do that within this session. You would need to provide some additional context to the app builder to be able to achieve that. And I also do not want to disappoint you. But I'll definitely give you some documentation so that you can look through that, how that is done, so that you can take that with. But yeah, get back to the worker. The worker is then an intermediate, which you then take. Then you do some pre-processing, like generating the input or generating the model, and then you send it to. In this, I'm going to take SIA as an example. You send the input through the worker to that machine, where it then automatically triggers certain events to take place. In this case, it will take that input, run it through SIA automatically. That generates some results, and the results are automatically sent back to your application that you've developed, where you do post-processing, and then you see the end result. To get to your original question, Anmol, is VIKTOR mostly for visualization purposes? No, VIKTOR is a platform where we want to enable the engineer, and what primarily engineers do is they do analyses. So we have also resources set up such that you can do pre and post processing and the analysis yourself. It is in reality the case that they are dedicated software such as SIA that do those analyses for you. As I mentioned in the presentation, that finite element modeling is much better done, not from scratch, but by leveraging software such as SIA, ETAB, SAP 2000, and the likes to help you out. For the sunlight analysis, I just took that as an example. I don't have enough knowledge and experience within the architecture space to get to a very detailed question, and that's why I would really like to see what all of you are going to try out. To also show you some a nice extra thing is that generating reports, that's always an annoying thing. Please generate a neat and professional report that is shown as a preview in a separate tab. So it's not just visualization, it's not just analyses. We're trying to combine all of those. The user experience that you see here with input parameters on the left and visualization on the right, that's just a design decision we made to simplify that as much as possible so that people recognize the platform of being VIKTOR specific. We want to apply more flexibility to the platform going forward. But for us, the results are the most important. So can you produce accurate results quickly? Can we help you save time? For those of you wondering where you can find more resources, I have a slide available that presents those those resources, but you can also go to docs.viktor.ai. I'll share that link in the Slack chat. There we go. Oh, sorry, the Zoom chat. I'll also later share it in the Slack chat. And if you go under the developer part, you'll see the part where we talk about the app builder. So here you can read up more on that. Anmol, to help you out, we're going to the software integrations part, and here you can see an entire list of the ones that we have seen before. So the SIA one, I'm going to share that with you. There we go. And I believe we also have a tutorial on that, coincidentally. It's your day, Anmol. I'm going to share that tutorial with you as well. Now this, as mentioned, this is, well, I didn't mention it, but integrations, we are, that complexity we do not support at the moment within the app builder. That will be available early next year. I believe you can probably hack your way to an integration solution through the app builder, but I don't want to, as I mentioned, disappoint you in today's session. Right. Anmol, out of curiosity, do you have experience with Python?
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, then hopefully I've made your day then with this SIA tutorial.
Yes, I'll check it out. Thank you.
Cool. All right. So here we've got our report generated. So obviously you want to do it more tailored to your needs, but this is a good first step. John, I see your hand is raised.
Yes, thank you. Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
I have experienced a bit with the demo, and I first upload the PDF of a base floor plan. It said that it's too large, larger than 4 megabytes, and then I sent like a JPEG image, but it was didn't get the most out of it. So I would like to ask, what is the best input file that we should feed this like a model, like a DWG, like a PDF image? What is the best? And the second question, please, is I would like to ask, does the user can choose which LLM to use to generate the code, or is a custom is an LLM of yours, or it's like would you use like
Yeah.
yes what
Yeah. So let me start with the second question first. We make use of Claude Sonnet 4.5. That is at the moment not customizable. I haven't heard many requests to customize that. We try to evaluate different models and find the one that is most performant at that point. And that for the analysis that we've done in the last time, that was Claude Sonnet. And so we picked that for the specific purpose. It also takes quite some time. You need to write the additional context specific to that model. So it doesn't necessarily perform, although it will perform maybe on objective ones very good, but to make that switch from one to another, it's not as simple as plug and play. You need to make some tweaks. So that's the reason why we don't support that at the moment. That doesn't say that's not so will not be the case in the future. Yeah, that's where we currently stand at this. On your first question, you, I assume, wanted to upload through the prompt, right? All right. So
yes.
just to give everyone the necessary context, on the left-hand side, you are writing the methodology, the requirements, the steps, and all the context required to build your application. It's not part of the analysis. So if you want to analyze your building, or if you want to do a structural analysis, that is not done through the application here. Oh, sorry, through the chat that you do here. This is the application that you finally develop. So you would typically, in your case, you would say, I want to add an upload file to. So I'm going to ask that here. I want to have the option to upload an IFC file that will be the 3D model. Therefore, create an option field with the option IFC or parametric. If IFC is chosen, provide me with a file, upload with the IFC then visualized and used in the analysis rather than the parametric model. All right, so what it now does, it will then, hopefully, if it gives us the right result, it will then give me a file upload on this side where it then can do the analysis on top of. So the file upload on this side is to give context to the app builder. The app builder can then interpret that and say, okay, now I understand how to build the application. For example, Ife, her question was, I want to then analyze based on norms and standards. My recommendation would then be is to provide the context to the app builder by uploading the norms and standards in through this file upload, but then ask the app builder, give me a file field where I can then upload my model to do the checks of the norms and standards too. Yeah. Is that does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. And yes, I must say, of all the types of topics, this is me now talking out of experience rather than out of facts. Out of experience, my experience is that large language models have a very difficult time understanding space and 3D geometries. I'm not sure why that is the case, but I can, if I have to guess or hypothesize, it's because that everything is explained in text, and for us as humans, it's quite easy to interpret 3D space. So the internet is filled up with a lot of images of 3D space, but the large language models aren't trained on that 3D space, so it doesn't understand it really well. This is by also a nice addition. So if it makes a mistake, then you can fix it with a click of a button. Getting back to the topic of 3D space. So I generally notice that sometimes if I'm not very clear about a 3D model, then it starts making mistakes. And this error that I got here could also be the case that it's that it provided that error because of that. All right, well, here we go. And so yeah, you've got the IFC model, and here you can see that you can then upload your IFC model if you would like to. I don't have IFC model, so that's not a demo that I can provide, but you can then play around with that. I would love to see someone taking an example of that to create an IFC model and do analysis on top of that. I'm showing a lot of buildings examples. If there's someone in another space, John, you already mentioned mechanical engineer in the MEP space. I also I actually did an application the other day but it was more for energy analyses on buildings. So to do an analysis on insulation. Yeah, so that's maybe tangentially MEP related, which I can actually show if I. No, I mean we do have a lot of time, so I can show that.
So I guess the best file that someone can input is like an IFC file. This is the best option that.
Usually I code for open standards, and for 3D models, the best one that I know of is IFC. You do get other ones like OBJ and STL, and but they are very, very minimalistic, I would say. IFC has a lot of information in that, which might be of help. But yeah, you can. I guess for energy analyses, you do not require actually all the information that an IFC has. Then you can go for something more simplistic like an OBJ, I guess. Just guessing now. If someone has, if someone thinks otherwise, please let me know. Right, let's see the application that I built the other day. Sorted by. Oh yeah, this is also a nice application that I would like to show. Sorted by newest. There we go. This is an entire other sector. It's the construction sector. So once you have designed your building and they are going to build it, then the contractor's going to go out and they are going to build it, but they also need to check whether they comply to the noise levels within a region, and if they go over a certain one, they need to send out notification letters to everyone in that region. So you can also do some construction site analyses. This is something I did as an example for someone else the other day. So if I click another source there, hopefully it will then analyze that. I need to give it a another construction. Let's see if it's. Let me do that closer. Oh, there we go. Maybe a bit further away. There you see. So you can also work with maps within the VIKTOR environment, which is very nice, especially the interactive part. You can see you can set some settings. Anyway, I'm digressing. I wanted to show the other case that I had on buildings. So for this case, I first find the building elements, so the walls, the windows, the doors, the floor, and the roof. It's not done yet, but it's here you see some basic stuff: the external wall, the thickness, the U value. Once you have done that, then you design your. This is just for a small standalone building at the moment. And then we say, I want to have it like this, and this, and this. It's not going to be the nicest building. Internal walls, like this. Oh, there we go. Another internal wall. Maybe some standard roof to apply over that. And then we place the standard window. By the way, all those building elements I've defined here. So let me say that. Let's put it here, and here, and one here. Right, that's enough doors. Sorry, windows. Yeah, and there, and there we go. And after that, we do we select the location. It's going to see that we're taking Utrecht here in the Netherlands. After which I do then thermal model analysis. It's here where you also have third-party software that can do also a very good job. If you simply want to test out your knowledge, it's also a nice nice way to check if you can still do these calculations yourself. See if it's here we see that it's got room 1, room 2, and room 3, and the roof are all the different zones that will be analyzed. And then we do an energy analysis. Let's do it 5 minutes, 1 year, and the ground temperature, let's make it 15. And let's go. Let's see what it comes up with. I probably shouldn't have selected 5 minutes for a year.
While this is running, can I ask you a question?
Yes,
It's
please
sort
do.
of something under the hood. It's already there. Okay, just a quick question. I'm just curious that how is the LLM using the functions that you have created? So have you created like a RAG model of your documentation that you are feeding to the LLM, or what what are you using for that?
Yeah. At the moment, we are using a condensed version of our large language model. It's at the moment very rudimentary, I would say. So the entire conversation with our documentation and the code is sent in one go to the foundational model to produce these results. We are currently, and I'm actually not sure if it's already released, but there we want to make use of RAG to then retrieve the results. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. All right. So as you can see here, the temperatures are going way up, which is not a good thing. So we should design this building much better to ensure that this doesn't happen. Or we need to put some good air conditioning up. And here you can then see for the different rooms. So for the roof, it actually surprises me that the roof is the coolest of them all. But that, I assume, is because the rooms heat up the most because of the windows that are out there. So with room 1, if we take a look why room 1, we see room 1 is this one. It's let's see how it looks in the. So it's because of this. There's a nice large window here that heats up the entire space, and it's a smaller volume than the other two, which contribute. I assume that this one will be the second hottest. If I go to the, should go to the third one. So second hottest, room 2, which is, yeah, that's this one. All right. Yeah, indeed, that is that one. So yeah, I'll have to improve on my house design to get the temperature more normal. Do we have access to the recording of this workshop afterwards? That is a good question. I have no clue. Where's the flight attendant? Or how did Sergey introduce himself?
Yes, exactly. Sorry, I was deep into trying to make a Rubik's Cube in VIKTOR.
Right. Very cool. Yeah, so there's a question that whether everyone has access to the recording afterwards.
Yeah, so we're gonna post them eventually. It's not gonna be immediate, but yeah, I think they're gonna go up on YouTube probably. So yeah, we'll follow up with details.
So hopefully everyone's taking good notes. Right. I'm wondering if anyone has anything to share at the moment.
I was really trying to break it, and I succeeded. So,
Great.
yeah, I just like we veered off and tried to see like what non-AEC things I can make. I guess I can show, let me see.
Yes, please do.
Oh, this is actually interesting. How can I, so I created my apps, and then if I want to, okay, my apps. If I want to go back, do I click on develop?
Yeah, so if you haven't published them yet, then they're all still in develop mode.
Okay.
So then it's best to go into the develop.
Okay. I can quickly share my
Through
screen.
the develop.
Okay, can I replace your screen share if you don't mind?
Yes. Should I do anything?
No, I don't think so. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to create like a column generator that works off of Conway's game of life. Just some nerdy, yeah, parametric things. It worked. It did a thing. Yeah, I have to play around more with it just to like get it to the point where I wanted to add some sort of an analysis component so that it could actually tell me if this column is going to stand up, which I am skeptical of this one. But yeah, and I'm trying to come up with a good prompt for the Rubik's Cube because I saw the interactivity features, so I want to try to play with that. But yep.
Very nice. Very cool. Anything that you noticed when prompting what works well and what does not?
I think the debugging, and this is kind of like an issue with vibe coding in general, I think. Like, I don't think it's an exclusively a VIKTOR issue. Like, it gives something a shot, and then if there's an issue, the model's visibility into what's going on is a little limited. So for instance, it can see like the stack traces, and it's good at debugging things that are wrong with like runtime errors in code.
Yeah.
But then trying to explain to it that like the thing I'm looking at is not what I want in terms of like the visualization, I have to do this verbally or like take a screenshot and feed it into the context. And I know that's gonna burn you a lot of tokens to like show the model a screenshot of every generation, but you know.
Indeed. Yeah. No, it's very interesting. Yeah. No, that's indeed something that we notice as well, is that for those that do not understand how large language models work, they will say, "Can't you see that this is not doing the right thing?" Well,
yeah,
no, it does not. So no, it's generating it blindfolded. So we're actually looking into understand or finding solutions on this, and indeed making screenshots and adding that as context would be a way of solving that. Yeah, I guess tokens will probably become cheaper as time goes on, and then it will become more viable.
yeah, exactly. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Nice. Anyone else that has would like to try and show something? If not, I will because I have some slides available that I can give some tips and tricks on how to improve on your development experience. So let me share my screen again. Screen 2. Oh. All right. Let's go. Oh yeah, by the way, I've already shared these resources, but you can go to the AEC VIKTOR environment. The Slack channel is there. All those things have been shared already. So now you know. Cool. I was first thinking sharing your prompts, but sharing your whole development, that's much nicer. Let's go to prompting principles. For one to understand what is the best prompt that you can give to the app builder to generate something for you, it's probably good to understand how LLMs work. And I am definitely not going to present LLMs in a purely technical way. I'm going to keep it as visual as possible. So LLMs, they are in the most simple explanation, they're a probability model. So if you type "the boy went to the," there will be weights attributed to different outcomes. And it doesn't work exactly like I showed here, but it's just to present the point on how large language models work. So when you give your prompt, based on the context that it already received, it's going to then generate new context on top of that. So the better your context is, so if you are talking now completely outside the industry, if you sound like a doctor, it will give more medical expertise than if you do not sound like a doctor. And the same would apply if you're an engineer. If you are a geotechnical engineer and you talk about very specific things of your geotechnical calculations, the chances are higher that the results that it generates will be much more in line with what you want to develop. Context, in summary, is everything for an LLM. Well, not everything. The model is also very important. If you are using models of 3 years ago and the models of today, the ones that you use today, most probably much better. So take that into account when you are writing your prompts. It's also the case, and here I'm taking a nice quote from Confucius. If a craftsman wants to do a good work, he must first sharpen his tools. And that not only applies to prompting, it applies to anything in life where if you want to become a proficient Python developer, you need to sharpen your knowledge and your experience of Python, do a lot of work on it. You need to put in the work to become better. So I'm going to give you some tips on what you can think about when you are generating your prompt. Seeing that what I've prompted is not the best applied prompting, I'm going to give you some prompting principles that you can work with. First and foremost, be clear and specific. I already mentioned that if you come across very knowledgeable about the matter, it will then steer in the right direction. But we also talk about context. So there's a model only has this much context that it can then ingest before it then starts hallucinating. So be very clear and specific. Effective prompts are built on clarity and specificity. So please avoid unambiguous language like very and a lot and such. Those only give space for the model to start hallucinating and to fill up that void. Include more information than might seem necessary to create a rich contextual environment. In other words, rather than just say, generate me a building, describe your building. Be very specific to your case. Decompose complex problems. That one example that I showed of the building where you do the thermal analysis, I wasn't able to create that application if I did not break it down into subsections, you will see that there were 3 pages where I first defined the material properties of the different building elements. Then in the second step, I wanted to draw a floor plan. And the third step, I did the thermal analysis. Now, I introduced the app builder with exactly that context, saying that I want to create an application that does all of this. But for now, let's focus on step 1, which is to define the building elements and the building material properties. After I was satisfied with that, after a long conversation, we went to the second step where I said, okay, now we are going to proceed in creating a floor plan. And I had even longer conversations with the app builder to make it exactly as I wanted it. Once I was satisfied, I went to the third step. In short, decompose complex problems. And then structure input and output. If you create a prompt, make sure to, or it's much better for the model to digest information if you bundle all the inputs together and the methodology in one place and then the output. If you say, I want to have the length defined, and you say, and the methodology for this is that, oh, and don't forget the width, and later on you say the height. If it's scattered all over the place, it will perform much worse than if you would then structure that all together. Even better if you will make use of programmatic language to split it up. Like, for example, if you want to include some formats, let's say you are integrating with an API and you know the format of the output, saying indicating, okay, this is JSON format, and then applying the dictionary and then closing it. That really helps for it to understand, okay, this is separate from the rest. So structuring your prompt really helps. Now I'm going to show 2 extreme examples for what is a poor prompt and what is an effective prompt. So a poor prompt: make an app to calculate soil bearing capacity. Now, we don't have any geotechnical engineers in the room today, but soil bearing capacity is something that geotechnical engineers use a lot. An effective prompt would be to create a geotechnical engineering app that calculates the ultimate bearing capacity of shallow foundations using Terzaki's bearing capacity theory. You would think that this is a good one, but no, you want to then also add the inputs as much as possible. You want to decompose it by saying what the steps are that it needs to take, and then the outputs. Now, I see that most, when they do prompting, that they do this iteratively, saying, okay, I want to build this. Please ask me the inputs, and I'll give the inputs, and then later on I will provide you the steps, and then at the end I will ask you for the results. But you can also put this in one single prompt, and that will be very, very effective. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. Yeah, so that is those tips. Hopefully that can help you in creating even better applications. Yeah. Does these tips help any of you in your prompting experience? Especially looking at those that have reached the limits of their application development that they are currently in. Because who's running into some form or limit? Sergey, you already mentioned that you broke something. Ife, did you break anything yet?
Maybe I could share my screen.
Oh, yeah, curious.
Okay.
Should be able to.
Okay, so here it is. I don't think that this is working so far, but you can see my prompting here. That's the first one I did, and then I changed it. I rephrased it to the formats that you recommended. I was hoping that at some point I was going to have to upload the like another PDF that contains the norms and standards as well. But here it is. It asked me if I just wanted to check the compliance based on the text, or if to also include the actual drawing content, the geometry and dimensions and all of that. And he said, yeah, it can do that. Like I've updated the spec to include both text-based code reference checking and etc. And then asked me if to start building. Of course, I said yes, and this is what I have now. And now it's saying, oh, you can upload a document here, which I then uploaded the drawing again, because I first uploaded the drawing before to even let us understand what the PDF would contain and what kind of PDF it was gonna be. And yeah,
Yeah,
this
sorry
is
if
what
I
I have
can
right now.
if I can interrupt you. I cannot see your screen. I
Oh,
don't know if the others
really?
can.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can you all oh, okay, let me share again. Oh my bad. Can you screen one?
I am seeing Zoom and
Okay, yeah.
my face.
Oh, control to select. I think it's maybe because I'm using two. Can you see now?
Someone's
Maybe you
coming up.
should check in your browser. You need to
Does this,
accept that it can do the
it
recording.
says
Or sorry,
participants can now see your screen.
Yeah, I can see the
that's interesting.
drawing.
Can you see the VIKTOR app? No?
No, I see.
Okay. Can you see this now?
Yes.
The VIKTOR app, you can see that now. Oh, okay. That means I have to kind of start again. But yeah, I started with this prompt, which you corrected to make it a little bit more clear and specific, I mean, to upload my drawings. But I changed from IFC to PDF because I already had the drawing set in PDF and I was hoping that it was going to be able to read it. And then I asked to check for if it confirms to the norms and standard in the CRC. I was hoping that I was going to get another prompt from VIKTOR to upload the codes and the norms and standards that I wanted to check with.
Yeah.
So I did that. I uploaded a PDF because I wanted to know what the PDF would typically look like. I did that. And then it started to process the information and then asked if I wanted to be just text-based compliance checking, like just to check the text, or to also check the the dimensions like room sizes and all of that, which I thought was really cool. I said, yes, please add that. And then it ran it again, and now it's saying, "Oh yeah, I've done this." Now it is gonna check both the text and the drawings also. And now this is what I have. And here I've uploaded because I can see a prompt to upload the drawing. I uploaded the drawing again, and it's like I can't even find something to click to say, "Oh yeah, it's been uploaded. Can you now check it?" Though it's telling me here that it's ready. Yeah, I feel like I don't know where to continue from here, really.
Yeah. Could you show me what format did you upload?
A PDF. This is the
Okay.
title of the PDF.
Maybe you can ask it, could you render a preview of the uploaded PDF as a view? So then
Oh,
you can
sorry,
sort of
repeat that.
confirm. Could you then ask it to give a preview of the uploaded PDF?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
At least that's what I prefer. I always want to double check whether the application actually does what I want it to do. And the first step is just to confirm what I've uploaded, that it visualizes. Similarly to that tunnel application that I showed, where the user uploaded their SAP 2000 tunnel model. And one of the first things that was shown was a preview of that exact tunnel. It did have some additional value where it showed then also the grouping that he applied on that. But the first value is just to double check that it's indeed is the model that you uploaded. All right, so now you can upload again your model. Now that's the unfortunate thing of the app builder for now, is that it loses its state every time you change. So you need to be patient for now. This is something that our team is addressing to have right before the end of the year. Right, so here we have the PDF. Well, so it's cool. And then you want to make use of this PDF to then to create a checklist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it can create a checklist for you. So if you go to
I'm gonna
the
continue to
checklist,
explore this.
yes, would be interesting to see where you eventually end up. And
Yeah,
as I already mentioned, if you get stuck at a certain point, you take the
right,
learnings and you start from scratch.
right.
It's all about the learning process. Learn the mistakes that you might have made, and then start again.
Yeah. Do you think that I'm missing a step? Because the VIKTOR did not ask me to upload the any documents containing the code itself. It's almost like it's saying that, oh, I already have the information and I'm just going to check your drawings against that.
Okay. No, it doesn't have the information. You should
It
say,
doesn't.
okay,
I should upload it.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. All
Tell
right.
it that rather than because it interpreted that you would upload the file through the application.
Mm,
And I don't think you would want to do that. You want to use the upload functionality of the app builder to give context to the app builder to write some code for you that can do the checks for you.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is interesting. I feel like even so far, this looks like something that I want to really try my best to see how it works. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. I see that a couple of people unfortunately had to drop off. So in their absence, I want to say thank you, Philip, Yuashri, and Tim for joining. Yeah. All right. I'm quickly going to just grab me a glass of water because again of all the talking, I've got a dry throat and my glass is empty. So just give me a minute. After which I am very curious to see what anyone else has to present. Now that I think about it, John, I mentioned to you that I would show you an example of what was it that I was showing? Oh yeah, integration with Autodesk platform services. Yeah, I'll try and get that example. Right, so let me make this big screen. Also share this in the link. So here's an example of an application that was developed integrating with Autodesk Platform Services and Autodesk Construction Cloud. This, by the way, is also possible to develop through the app builder. But as I mentioned earlier, it does require of you to have the integration settings set up for your organization. And since you are using the AEC VIKTOR environment, you won't easily be able to connect your organization's APS or ACC environment. But this does show you what you can do. In this case, it's a very simple example where based on a model that was selected, you then select the element, the property thereof, and then you filter out, in this case, the value it filters about. So yeah, this is very nice. So you can see that you can build something like this. We have also more elaborate examples. This one you can easily build with the app builder, but there are other ones that you would, I would recommend making use of Python as your primary way, because it can become quite complex. I'll try to find another example for that. John, does this? What do you think of this example?
Yes, hello. Hello, I'm sorry for the delay. Yes, it seems really cool. Yes, I like it.
Nice. Yeah, so as I mentioned, it's unfortunate that you cannot test out this, but it does show the capabilities of the VIKTOR platform. I'll share this link for you so you can look into this later.
Perfect,
ACC integration requirements checker. I see it's loading on to the next one. I see that Ife, you had a question, how long do we have access to the VIKTOR platform to finish our project from this workshop? I was told by our team that at the moment it's indefinite, so we can we are not going to throw you off the platform, so you can make use of it. We will let you know if we change our mind, but for now you can keep on using it. Let's show another nice example. Yes, I think this one was presented at Autodesk University. This one is more elaborate, so I would be surprised if you were able to get this right simply using the app builder.
Is it possible to use one of these existing projects as a starting point for our application instead of building from the ground up?
It is. For the app builder, it's currently possible, but in a very, you would then ask the app builder to generate a basic framework for you, and then you copy over the code from an existing template or project, and then you build on top of that. I've done that previously a couple of times. We want to improve that experience. In short, it is possible. The more general way of doing that, if you are working from an existing project, to develop locally, so not using the app builder, and that is definitely already possible. We've got a whole library of projects on our GitHub repository, which you can then make use of as a template or a starting point. So yeah, that's yeah. Hopefully, Anmol, hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, yes.
Also, with you already mentioning that you have expertise in Python, you've got Python proficiency. It should be very easy for you to start developing locally as well. I will also show how to do so. So if we go here, if you go back to your development tab, you might have noticed that there's this level up part as well. This allows you then to switch your development to your computer. Then you would develop using your IDE of choice, whether that is VS Code or PyCharm, and then you can continue your development on your own laptop. Right, so again, showing the one video that I showed her while talking. Here's another one where you can take a model, in this case from Revit, and then that's a very simple example. I think it's parametrically put in, and then you then push it to Revit. Oh no, you take Revit as the input file. And it's the first time I see this video actually. So this was then pushed through the API that Autodesk has available, their design automation one, to then generate a new model on top of that. And let's see how that then looks like once that model was generated. There we go, a new model. So it takes an existing template and then puts the model on top of that. All right, so any other candidates to present their ideas, what you've tried to develop, what you've succeeded in, what you failed in? Curious to see what you might have created.
I tried something, but it doesn't seem to work. I'll share my screen.
All right.
Can you see it?
Still waiting.
I think it's
Maybe the
coming
others
up.
can see it.
I can't. Could you try resharing again?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, started screen sharing. Think, yep, I see it.
Okay. Can you also see it, Marcel?
Yes, I can see it. Thanks.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I just tried. I was using the map feature that you mentioned. So I was trying to create an app where I can input the coordinates of 2 points and get the like top 5 routes that I can take from one point to the other along with their distances. Apparently, there was some issue with the open route service. I did create an account and include my API key there, but it's showing this error, and I've tried to resolve this, but yeah, it makes some changes in the code, but this error is still popping up. I don't know if there's a better way to debug it. I just copy the error here and try it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we could look in the code. Maybe an interesting thing now that we are seeing this, you see that you have an API key that you feed as an input field. Although this is fine for today, you can also set it as an environment key on your settings. So you see that there's the settings icon in the left bottom corner where you can set environment key. So for any of you that is curious about that, you can set that environment key and you don't have to refill it in every time.
Where is the settings?
There's
on
this icon in the left bottom corner. The settings icon.
It's hidden. Yeah, okay, got it.
And
Okay.
then you can see that there are variables that you can set. Oh, now exit it. So if you go to navigate to variables, and here you can then set your environment key.
Yeah, but I think it's fine for now. I'm still trying to make it work with the current thing. Okay, it says to copy. Yeah, I think
Failed to
it's
fetch routes. Maybe you can go to the code and search for that error. Failed to fetch.
It's gonna show the error here.
It seems like there's a custom printout, failed to fetch routes. So it's probably a piece of string somewhere. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
Here.
I can see.
Exception.
So it's,
so
as you can see, it's just a general try and accept that it does there. We can also see the URL that it defined in 100 line 110. So just check whether that URL is correct.
GeoJSON. It does say that it got GeoJSON. Looks fine actually.
Okay, and the object. Oh, actually, is there a console somewhere? Like, can we print stuff just for debugging?
Yeah, that's for me also a very annoying thing. At the moment, there's not. It will be there soon. What you could do is write a user message. I can add in the chat how you can do so. Or you can say to the app builder, write any print statements as a user message dot info my message.
Is it possible I just give it this URL and see if the API request is the API?
You can ask the app builder to check what the error is that it gets, because it does, as far as I understand, it does check behind the scenes what the response is.
Yeah. Yeah, it says bad requests, so that means that we're probably either the JSON payload is somehow not formatted correctly, or it's saying here API key is provided in the wrong way.
Exactly. So you can see that request body that you have there. It's currently has coordinates, alternative routes. You could check that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying. Yeah. Okay, I
so if you
think
can
this
look in the
can.
documentation how that is defined.
Yeah, so the coordinates is a list of lists with. Actually, it's 3 lists. So I think something is going wrong here.
So these are just waypoints. There are probably like an arbitrary number of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you could
Alternative route
get
started code.
if you can get a sample request or example payload that you can give to the app builder, then it will be much better at giving you the right code.
Oh, also your URL, I think, might be wrong because you see how it goes API open route service.org/v2/directions, blah, blah, blah. And I think I saw like dev hashtag API docs somewhere in your thing.
Yeah, copy this and paste that directly in the code.
Oh, no, okay. I guess I was wrong. Oh, you're trying to get the robot to read the docs.
Yeah, at least I tried. It's not working.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if you could get a sample request body that you can give to the app builder.
Let's look for it here.
There's show example code on the right. There's like a little red button on the bottom. Oh, here's the curl request. That's perfect.
Yeah, just copy that and say, listen, this is how this should look like. Fix the code. You first need to save because you made changes in the code, or you can undo changes.
Okay.
All right, so now copy that curl and say, this is the curl. Fix the code.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. This might. Is there a limit to which we can keep on generating the model or use the tokens?
On the environment that you are on now, there's no limit.
Wow.
You will just notice if you go on endlessly that it will start hallucinating. Because the
Speaking of
context
which,
is too much.
that would, if I can put in the feature request, that could be cool to be able to like either get the LLM to produce like a meta prompt, just like summarize everything we did up to this point, and then clear context, like keep the code, just like summarize everything into a message and just start over because eventually they're going to start losing the plot.
Like the compact feature in Cloud Code.
Yeah, there are different strategies that they are now following. They also notice that conversations. We have a beta team that share their conversations with us or gave permission to that we can check the conversations. And we generally notice that the conversations never focus on the original stuff. So there's also a different strategy that they're applying, that it has a recency bias.
Mm.
So taking all the last 5 to 10 prompts, and then forget about all the prompts, except if they explicitly ask for or refer to all the prompts. And yeah, applying RAGs and agents in the background will also save a lot of context. Also, currently you see only one big script, splitting it up into separate scripts, and then finding the scripts as you or checking the separate scripts also helps. Right. Let's see the code, what it actually changed. If you can check on if you click on code. Yeah. Let's see what changes did it make?
Nothing here, I would say, of consequence. Yeah, nothing much.
Could you ask it to apply another coordinate and therefore make the waypoint 3, so that we have an exact similar case as the documentation?
I guess in this case, it's better to start from an existing project where these issues are already resolved.
Yeah. Now, generally, if I run into something like this specifically, you want to have an existing snippet that you can work with, that you know will work, and then build on top of that.
Okay, yeah, I think this can go on for a while.
Yeah. Sometimes it's as simple as just one / that you fail to include, or open root service. Let me check. And for this, you are trying to do a GET request or a POST request? A POST. I see.
While generating the results now.
I think if you click fix, it might do it. I like that feature a lot.
Okay. it's gonna add the code that I removed right now.
Yeah.
You can also, in the documentation, you can select Python as a language that you can include. Maybe try that. And tell the app builder, apply for now the exact snippet that I'm going to provide you. So just so that we can check that the endpoint works.
Okay. Both views. Do you that? Or I don't see it using this one.
Yeah, it's not listening. Let's try it again. See what the show changes is.
Yeah.
Let's see if it apply the API key. Let's see if it does anything.
There was a time with earlier models when they would perform better when you threatened them. No, I'm very glad we're past that point in history.
Did you fix it with VIKTOR?
Here, it's also taking the context of the previous requests or just the latest one?
No, it's just taking the context of the specific error.
Oh,
Hey, look at that.
finally. Okay, let's
Oh, that's a different issue.
stick to this one.
Cool.
Okay.
So I think seeing what it changed, it's that extra context that you added to the body was the issue.
I think in the code now, it's in the request body, we are sending 3 waypoints.
Yeah.
For some reason, it requires 3, but it
Well, no. So
the minimum.
I see that a significant change that you made was it's now only coordinates that you are sending, while your previous one had another argument, and it doesn't like that.
Yeah. Where was that?
So now you can tell the builder that, okay, let's make the coordinates variable.
Yeah.
I would actually create this application by saying that change that. If you go back to your application, I would actually still want to see how you've.
Yeah.
Want to
So
see how you correctly. Could you go to the preview? I want to check something. Yeah, so currently you are defining the start and the start points and the waypoints as a fixed point. I would ask the app builder create the points as a dynamic array with due point fields with which I can select all points on the map dynamically. The dynamic array should include at least 2 points. I've added the prompt in the Zoom chat, so and as you can see now, you can now add dynamically your points.
Can I select it on the map now?
You can, if you, for example, add a new row, but you can also click on the pencil if you'd like.
And can I shift it? Yes. Okay.
Fun.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Also, I think in this case, I attempted to create the entire thing in one go. Maybe I should ask it to first create only the map and then add functionality over it.
Yeah, it's always, I still do not really have an answer for that. I do lean towards indeed what you are saying, where to rather go step by step, saying first create the map and then that. At first I was, no, let's do it in one go. I think it's also, what I notice is that when you start from scratch, it can really take a lot of context in one go and create something wonderful for you. But the moment as that context increases, you need to focus in on a specific issue if you want to solve it well. So maybe, and I'm still hesitant to say for sure, but maybe it is the case that you start by defining what you want to do as an overview and give as much overview context. And once it has created that structure, then you zoom in on a specific case, and then you say, okay, now we're only going to focus on the map, and we're going to fix this. And once you're done with that, then you go to the next step, and then the next step.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. I'm very curious to now see, because I see we only have 9 minutes left. Is there anything that any of the others want to share? Just quickly checking who's still here.
I don't have
Taro?
anything to share, but can I ask several questions?
Yes, please do.
Quick ones. If anybody else want to show your thing first, but if I may, I'd like to ask questions. So
Yeah, please ask.
when you showed energy calculation for floor plan, checking temperature for small rooms, and you created the plot. And my question is, so it's based on some kind of formula to find out the temperature of that room, and that logic or formula was provided by AI, LMM, the backend LMM, or do you need to write the prompts to explain how to deliver those number temperature?
Yeah. Yeah, so I have knowledge and a background in thermal and energy analyses, HVAC calculations more specifically. So I at first would ask the app builder to provide me with the approach that it would take, and then I would alter its approach according to what I would like it to have. Like, for example, there are different ways of doing HVAC calculations. I didn't want to go the very detailed numerical analysis approach. I wanted to do it very simplified, doing temperature differences and the likes. So I provided all those small details to it. I would also ask it, okay, what approach did you apply here? If I didn't trust a certain calculation, where it would then explain to me certain things. Like, for example, I noticed that there was a discrepancy in certain calculations, and I noticed when asking the questions that it never deducted the the window area from the wall. So it's sometimes those small things that you need to check as well as a developer, making sure that it does it correctly. So that's why I always recommend that you do only things that you are proficient in, and that you always check the analysis by either asking it or asking it in the prompt what it has done, checking the code, or asking it to then deliver the results to you so that you can check it with another model that you have available or results that you have available. And if there's a discrepancy, to figure out what the reason for that is.
So you need to describe the algorithm in the form of prompt very carefully to get the result.
I don't think you need to go into that detail. It does have good. It does have good knowledge of all the formulas, but you need to be very clear what formula you should use.
I see. Then in my area in architecture, for example, energy calculation, we use Energy Plus or Radiance as a backend. And if I want to ask your tool to rely on those backend engine already built by someone else, is it possible?
Yeah, so at the moment, integrations are not officially supported by the app builder. We are very close to do support it. It is however, already possible to integrate with Energy Plus. We actually have an example of Professor Wasim. He's quite popular online. He actually built a couple of applications that integrate with Energy Plus. So that is indeed possible, but not yet through the app builder. So that's why the example that I showed you, I developed that energy model from scratch.
I see.
But yeah, in the not too distant future, you will be able to integrate with such software as well through the app builder. It's
through the app builder, through the prompt. I see.
Yes.
So Professor Washim was actually using Python platform to directly on. I see. Then I follow through your prompt, identical prompt today, before going into my own. Then my result that I got from your app is slightly different from what you shown on the screen. For example, you have like a 4 plots on one tab. Instead, I got like several different tabs for each. And I understand LMM results might be a little bit random, but how do you work around this? Like if I like your result better, then like the way I'm all was doing in front of us, like you just kind of start the conversation with AI and adjust it, or what's the recommendation for this station?
Yeah, it's a good question. If you want to get the identical result from the identical prompt, that's something that we adjust on our side. It's something that we call temperature. You adjust the temperature of a model. If it's very high, then it will be more creative in outcomes. If it's very low, then it gets the same results. We have an approach where we keep the temperature low so that the results are reproducible. But the moment that it needs more, if it's stuck somewhere, that you can that we increase the temperature for that.
Well, thank you so much for a great presentation. I'm so excited with this kind of new tools, and I'll definitely try out. Thank you.
Yeah, please, and let's keep touch.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'll try to. Hopefully, we have enough time that I can still share the Wasim case.
Great.
Because then you can go read through that.
Yeah, he used to teach at my institution, NJIT. So,
okay.
Yes, I met him before. Yeah.
Let us see. I'm not sure whether this is the right one, but it's probably a good starting point. And he's quite active on social media, so you can always.
I see.
If you ask him, then he can.
I see.
You might be able to help you out.
Great.
Here's another video, more specifically to Energy Plus and VIKTOR. There we go.
Thank you.
Let me edit this. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Right. Cool. I do see that we have run out of time. That doesn't mean that this journey ends here. You are more than welcome to ask me any questions outside the session. I will also try and send a message to all of you, thanking you for joining. And in that way, you will then have my email address, and we can therefore keep contact. So if you have any other questions for Victor, or cases, or if you're stuck with your development now and that you want to finish, please reach out and let's have a chat.